All right, so ready to take your passion for dance to the next level. Become performing arts school dance instructor.
Now that's inspiring the next generation.
Big time. But before we get to how, let's break down what a performing arts school dance instructor actually does.
Right, like what are we actually talking about?
RoleCatcher's Career Guide has some insights on this.
Yeah, think beyond just teaching routines, you're blending theory and practice.
Okay.
You're guiding students through technique monitoring, progress, providing feedback.
Right.
It's a very dynamic role.
Okay, so you're a mentor, a guide, a teacher, all rolled into one. No pressure.
Exactly.
But speaking of pressure, let's talk about those interview questions.
Sure.
RoleCatcher has a whole bank of them, right?
They do, and we're going to unpack them.
Okay.
So let's start with a classic. Can you tell us about your experience teaching dance?
How do you go beyond just listing our resume here?
Okay, think about what makes your experience unique. Have you worked with different age groups or skill levels? Different dance styles. Highlight those aha moments when a student grasped a difficult concept or, mastered a particular technique.
I see.
Those stories bring your experience to life.
I love that.
More than just like, I taught at this place for this long.
Yes, it's about showing your passion and your ability to connect with students.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I bet they'll ask about tailoring lessons for different skill levels.
Right. Of course.
You can't teach the same routine to a beginner and an advanced student.
Yeah, you're spot on a question like, how do you tailor your dance lessons to different skill levels? Almost guaranteed.
Yeah.
So think about how you assess skills, maybe through a warm-up or like a quick little assessment.
Right.
Then discuss modifying choreography,
Right.
like offering different versions of a routine with varying complexity.
So like layering the choreography,
Yeah,
making it accessible to everyone while still offering challenges.
exactly. And remember, individualized support is key.
Yeah.
Some students might need extra help while others are ready for more. This is where RoleCatcher's AI can be super helpful. It analyzes your answers and suggests ways to tailor them for specific job roles.
Oh, cool.
So if a school emphasizes individualized learning, you'll know to highlight that aspect of your teaching.
Oh, that's amazing. It's like having a personalized interview coach.
It's very handy.
Okay, let's move on to technique. Every dancer knows that's the foundation.
Yeah.
What kind of questions should we expect?
They'll definitely want to know about your approach.
Yep.
Something like, can you describe your approach to teaching dance technique? This is your chance to highlight your focus on proper form alignment and execution of movements.
Right. But it's not just about being a stickler for the rules, right?
Right.
Dance is also about artistry and expression.
Of course you want to bring that in. So talk about how you balance technical precision with fostering creativity.
Yeah.
Do you encourage improvisation within a structure? Do you explore different interpretations of a movement?
Right.
Things like that.
So it's about that holistic approach.
Yeah.
And how about giving feedback? I remember some teachers who were all about harsh critiques,
I've had a few of those too.
which is not exactly inspiring.
No, it's not.
You want to nurture those students.
Yeah, so explain how you provide constructive, positive, and encouraging feedback. Think back to a time you helped the student correct a common technique mistake.
Yes.
That's a great anecdote to share, and here's where RoleCatcher's AI can help again. It can provide feedback on your answers, suggesting ways to make them even stronger.
Okay.
For example, it might suggest adding specific examples to illustrate your points.
This is so helpful. It's
Yeah.
like having a secret weapon in my interview arsenal.
It can feel that way, right?
Okay, let's talk about those students who might need a little extra support. What if they ask something like, how do you encourage students who may struggle with dance?
Okay, so this question is all about empathy and patience. Remember, every student learns differently,
Yeah,
and some might need more time to grasp certain concepts.
of course.
Share your strategies for creating a supportive environment. Do you break down movements further? Offer one-on-one help. Focus on individual progress rather than perfection.
And I bet a common follow-up is, have you ever had a student who initially struggled but ultimately thrived? What was your approach?
Oh, for sure. They want to hear those stories.
Yeah.
This is your chance to share a real-life story that showcases your dedication to helping all students succeed. And don't be afraid to get specific talk about the challenges the student faced, the strategies you used, and the ultimate outcome.
These stories really make the difference, don't they?
I think so.
It's not just about saying you're passionate. It's about showing it through your experiences.
For sure.
Exactly. Okay, ready for the next question? This one's all about the soul of dance music.
Okay, let's do it.
How do you See, how do you incorporate music into your dance lessons being asked?
That's a good one.
Music is everything in dance.
It is.
But I imagine this question is about more than just picking a catchy tune, right?
It is.
They want to know how you use music to enhance the learning experience.
Absolutely. So talk about choosing music that complements the choreography, the style, the mood you're trying to create.
Right.
Do you involve students in the selection process? How do you help them understand rhythm and timing? Do you clap along count steps? Use visual aids?
Makes sense. It's about showing you understand the deeper connection between music and movement.
Yeah.
And I bet they might follow up with something like, what are some of your favorite pieces of music to use in class and why?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They want to get to know you a little bit.
Yeah, they want to see your personality shine through.
Right.
Share your musical tastes and how they inform your teaching. Don't be afraid to mention a variety of genres and artists. It shows you're open-minded and adaptable.
Yeah, good point.
And remember, RoleCatcher's AI can analyze your answers for keywords related to specific job roles.
Okay.
So if a school is looking for someone with a strong understanding of musicality, make sure to highlight those aspects.
This is like a masterclass in interview prep.
Well, we're trying.
Okay, let's move on to a crucial topic, safety.
Yes, always
Yeah.
important. How do you prioritize safety in your dance lessons? This question is all about demonstrating that you're a responsible and knowledgeable instructor.
It really is.
Absolutely, especially when you're working with students who are pushing their physical limits.
Yes.
What are some key things to highlight here?
Definitely detail your warm-up and stretching routines, your
Yeah.
spotting techniques, and your approach to creating a supportive environment where students feel comfortable asking questions and expressing concerns.
And I imagine a good follow-up would be, how would you address a student who's pushing themselves too hard and risking injury?
Yeah, for sure.
You got to keep them healthy.
It's about showing you can balance encouragement with safeguarding your students' well-being. Talk about open communication, listening to their concerns, and emphasizing long-term health over short-term gains.
It's like being a coach, a mentor, and a protector all at the same time.
There you go.
This is such valuable advice.
Yeah.
I'm feeling much more confident about tackling those interview questions now.
I'm glad to hear it. That's the goal. Okay, I'm ready for the next round of questions. What else do we need to be prepared for?
Okay, let's dive into the creative side. Can you describe your choreography process? This is where you get to showcase your artistic vision.
Oh, I love this one.
Yeah.
It's a chance to talk about what inspires me as a choreographer.
Yes.
What kind of details should I focus on?
Share how you choose music, develop themes, experiment with movement, and bring your unique style to life. Do you find inspiration from visual art, nature, personal experiences?
Yeah.
Do you involve students in the process?
Collaboration is so important.
It is.
And I bet a potential follow-up could be, what inspires your choreographic choices?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
They want to know what makes you tick.
And want to get to know you a little bit.
Yeah.
This is where you delve deeper into your artistic influences. Maybe you're drawn to a particular dance style, or you have a favorite choreographer, or maybe you're inspired by social issues or current events.
So it's about showing them that you're not just a technician, you're an artist with a unique perspective. And speaking of perspective, I bet they'll ask about preparing students for performances.
They will a question like, how do you prepare students for dance performances? That's a must.
It's about building confident stage presence and the ability to perform under pressure.
Absolutely.
It's about more than just learning the steps.
So much more.
It's about the whole performance experience.
Yeah, talk about your rehearsal strategies. Do you incorporate visualization techniques, mock performances, or feedback from peers? How do you help students manage performance anxiety?
And I bet a common follow-up is, what advice would you give a student who is nervous about performing on stage?
Oh yeah, they want to hear about your approach to that.
Yeah.
This is where you showcase your empathy and understanding of performance psychology. Share some calming techniques, confidence-boosting tips, or even a personal anecdote about overcoming stage fright.
Yeah, those anecdotes really make you human.
Yes.
This is so helpful. I'm starting to feel like I could handle anything they throw at me. What's the final question we need to be prepared for?
Okay, this one is all about staying at the forefront of the dance world. How do you stay current with dance trends and techniques?
Lifelong learning is so important, especially in a field that's constantly evolving.
Yes, it is.
What are some key resources to mention here?
Definitely highlight workshops, conferences, online communities, masterclasses, and performances.
Yeah?
Are there any choreographers or companies you admire and follow closely?
It's about showing them that you're passionate about growing as a dancer and a teacher.
Exactly. And a potential follow-up could be, what's a recent dance trend that excites you, and how would you incorporate it into your teaching?
I love that.
Yeah.
It's not enough to just be aware of the trends. You have to know how to integrate them thoughtfully and appropriately.
Right. This is your chance to show them you're not just knowledgeable about the history of dance, but also passionate about its future.
Yeah.
And remember, RoleCatcher's AI can analyze your answers for keywords related to professional development. So if a school is looking for someone who's innovative and forward-thinking, make sure to highlight those aspects.
This has been an incredible crash course in interview prep.
I'm glad you think so.
I feel like I have a whole new toolkit to work with.
I hope so.
But before we move on, let's take a step back and talk about RoleCatcher's AI in more detail.
Okay, sure.
Okay, I'm ready to dive deeper. What other secrets does RoleCatcher hold?
Well, for starters, their AI isn't just about helping you prepare for interviews.
Right.
It can also help you with your CV and cover letter. Remember how we talked about tailoring your application to specific job descriptions?
Yes, it's all about highlighting the skills and experiences that matter most to each employer.
Exactly. RoleCatcher's AI can actually analyze your CV and suggest ways to emphasize the most relevant information. For example, if a school is looking for someone with experience in teaching contemporary dance,
Okay.
the AI can help you showcase any related experience you have, even if it's just a workshop or a personal project.
So it's like having a personal brand manager who helps you put your best foot forward.
That's a good way to put it.
And here's another cool thing. RoleCatcher allows employers to search for candidates based on skills and experience.
Yeah,
So if you opt in, employers can actually find you based on your qualification.
that's right. It's like a matchmaking service for the job market. Pretty cool, right?
Wait, so employers can discover me even if I haven't applied for a specific job.
Exactly.
This is mind-blowing. I never realized how much technology could do to help with the job search. It feels like a whole new world has opened up.
It's pretty amazing what's out there now.
This is so inspiring. I'm starting to feel really excited about the possibilities. Okay, I'm ready for the next part of our deep dive. What else is in store?
In the next segment, we're going to delve deeper into those potential follow-up questions that might arise during your interview. We'll explore how to handle curveballs, showcase your unique strengths, and leave a lasting impression on those hiring managers.
Sounds good. Stay tuned, folks, because we're about to take this deep dive to the next level. Welcome back. We're in the thick of prepping you for that Performing Arts School Dance Instructor interview, and I'm eager to unpack more potential questions.
We've covered a lot of ground, but as any dancer knows, there's always more to explore. Before we jump back into questions, I did want to touch on something from RoleCatcher's career guide that I think is super relevant here.
Oh, excellent point. Let's hear it.
They highlight how professional development can be key for performing arts school dance instructors.
Yep.
It's not just about landing the job,
Yeah,
it's about growing in your career.
that's so true. Dance is always evolving. And so our teaching methods, what kind of professional development do they suggest?
They list certifications as a big one.
Okay.
Things like Certified Dance Educator, CDE,
Okay.
or National Dance Education Organization, NDEO, certification show you're committed to your craft.
That makes sense. It's like a stamp of approval from respected organizations.
Mhm.
Does RoleCatcher say anything about how these certifications can help in your career?
Absolutely. They mention that having certifications can open doors to becoming a department head,
Okay.
overseeing a whole dance program,
Wow.
or you could even become an artistic director,
Right.
shaping the vision for a school or a company.
Wow. So much potential.
Yeah.
I'm getting even more excited about this career path. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We still need to ace that interview. Back to the questions.
Back to the questions, and I think we left off talking about staying current with dance trends and techniques.
Yeah.
Remember, interviewers want to see that you're passionate about lifelong learning.
Right. We talked about workshops, conferences, following inspiring choreographers, all those things. But how do we translate that into a compelling answer?
Hmm.
What if they ask, what's a recent dance trend that excites you? And how would you incorporate it into your teaching?
That's a fantastic question, and one that really lets you shine.
Okay.
First, think about a trend that genuinely interests you. Maybe it's a new fusion style,
Right.
a technological integration like projection mapping, or a focus on inclusive dance practices.
Okay, so I've identified a trend. Now, how do I connect that to my teaching that feels tricky?
Think about your students and the curriculum. How can you adapt this trend to be relevant and engaging for them?
Yeah.
Could you create a short workshop exploring the trend? Incorporate elements into your choreography.
I see. It's not just about name-dropping a trend. It's about showing you can thoughtfully integrate it into your teaching practice.
Exactly. And here's where RoleCatcher's AI can be super helpful again.
Okay.
It can analyze your answers and suggest ways to make them even stronger.
Okay.
Maybe it prompts you to mention specific learning objectives or assessment methods related to the trend,
I see.
showing you've really thought it through.
That's so cool. It's like having a personalized feedback system.
Hmm.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. We talked a lot about the teaching aspect, but what about the performance side?
Ah, yes. Performing arts schools often have a strong emphasis on performances. Let's say they ask, how do you prepare students for dance performances?
Hmm.
This is about more than just teaching the steps. It's about nurturing their confidence and stage presence.
It's about the whole experience, right?
Mhm.
The excitement, the nerves, the teamwork.
Exactly. Think about your rehearsal strategies. Do you use visualization techniques? Mock performances? Peer feedback? How do you address performance anxiety?
Oh, that's a big one. So many dancers struggle with stage fright. What if they ask specifically, what advice would you give a student who is nervous about performing on stage?
That's a great question, and it gives you a chance to show your empathy and understanding of performance psychology. Maybe you share some calming techniques,
Okay.
like deep breathing or positive self-talk, or you could even offer a personal anecdote about overcoming your own stage fright.
Sharing your own experiences can be so powerful. It makes you more relatable and human.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've covered performance prep. What else could they ask about the performance aspect?
They might dig deeper into your choreography process, particularly in the context of a school production.
Right.
Let's say they ask, how do you balance your own choreographic vision with the individual strengths and limitations of your students?
Ooh, that's a good one. It's a delicate balance, for sure. You want to create something innovative and exciting, but you also have to work with the dancers you have.
It's a collaborative process. Talk about how you observe your students,
Okay.
identify their strengths,
Yep.
and create choreography that allows them to shine while still pushing their boundaries.
And maybe even involve them in the creative process.
Yes.
Give them ownership over certain sections or encourage them to contribute ideas.
Exactly. It's about empowering them to be a part of something bigger than themselves. And speaking of bigger picture, RoleCatcher has some interesting insights on potential career paths for dance instructors.
Oh, I'd love to hear about that. We talked about certifications and becoming a department head or artistic director.
Yeah.
What else does RoleCatcher mention?
They highlight the possibility of branching out as an independent choreographer. You could create your own works,
Wow.
collaborate with other artists, and even start your own dance company.
Wow. That's amazing. It sounds like there's so much room for growth and exploration in this field.
There really is, and RoleCatcher also emphasizes the importance of networking and building connections within the dance community.
That makes sense. It's all about who you know, right?
Well, it's more than just that. It's about building relationships,
Okay.
learning from others, and finding mentors who can guide you on your journey.
This is so inspiring. I'm starting to feel like the possibilities are endless.
They are. But before you go off and start choreographing your next masterpiece, let's get back to those interview questions. We've covered a lot of ground, but there's always more to learn.
Okay, I'm ready for more. What other tricky questions do we need to be prepared for?
Let's think back to that question about teaching dance technique.
Okay.
Remember we talked about highlighting your focus on proper form alignment and execution of movements.
Yeah.
But what if they dig deeper and ask, what do you do if a student is consistently making the same technique mistake even after repeated corrections?
Ooh, that's a good one. It's one thing to talk about your general approach to technique, but it's another thing to address a specific challenge like that.
Exactly. This is where you show your problem-solving skills and adaptability as a teacher. First, acknowledge that not all students learn at the same pace.
Right.
Some might need more time or different approaches to grasp certain concepts.
Right. Maybe you need to try a different teaching method, like a visual demonstration,
Mhm.
a hands-on adjustment, or breaking the movement down even further.
You got it. And sometimes it might not even be about the technique itself.
Okay.
Maybe the student is struggling with confidence coordination or a physical limitation. It's important to address the whole dancer, not just the technical execution.
It's about being a detective, trying to figure out what's blocking that student's understanding.
Exactly. And remember, RoleCatcher's AI can analyze your answers and suggest ways to make them even stronger.
Right.
For example, it might suggest mentioning specific techniques you've used to help students overcome challenges.
That's so helpful. It's like having a personal editor for my interview responses. Okay, what other challenges might come up in relation to teaching technique?
Let's say they ask, how do you challenge advanced students while still ensuring beginners feel supported?
Okay.
This is a common scenario in performing arts schools where you might have a mixed level class.
Right. It's about finding that sweet spot between pushing those who are ready for more while not leaving anyone behind.
Absolutely. You could talk about using layering techniques in your choreography,
Right.
where you offer different variations of a movement or sequence to suit different skill levels.
So beginners can focus on the basic form while advanced students can explore more complex variations.
Exactly. And you could also mention breaking the class into smaller groups for targeted instruction or offering optional challenges for those who are ready to push themselves further.
These are great strategies. It's all about being flexible and responsive to the needs of your students.
Precisely. And speaking of being responsive, let's revisit that question about encouraging students who may struggle with dance.
Okay, I remember we talked about empathy, patience, and creating a supportive environment. But what if they ask something like, what do you do if a student is expressing a desire to quit dance altogether?
That's a tough one, but it's a reality that many dance instructors face. First and foremost, create a safe space for the student to share their feelings,
Right.
listen without judgment, and try to understand the root of their discouragement.
Maybe they're feeling overwhelmed comparing themselves to others, or
Ooh.
simply losing interest.
Right. Once you understand their perspective, you can brainstorm solutions together. Maybe they need a change of pace or a different style of dance to reignite their passion.
It's about empowering them to make choices that align with their goals and well-being.
Exactly. And sometimes it's about helping the student understand that setbacks and challenges are a natural part of any artistic journey.
That's such an important message. It's not about being perfect. It's about persevering and finding joy in the process.
I love that. Okay, ready for another challenging question? This one's about music and its impact on students.
Bring it on. I'm
Right.
feeling confident.
Let's say they ask, how do you choose music that is both engaging for students and appropriate for the learning environment?
That's a good one. You want to inspire them with your music choices, but you also have to be mindful of the context.
Absolutely. This is about showing you understand the power of music and its potential impact on young minds. You can talk about your process for selecting music that is rhythmically and emotionally appropriate for the age group,
Right.
the dance style, and the overall learning objectives.
And you might even mention checking with the school or organization about any specific guidelines they have regarding music choices.
Excellent point. It's always better to be prepared. And remember, RoleCatcher's AI can analyze your answers and suggest ways to make them even stronger.
Right.
For example, it might prompt you to mention specific musical concepts or genres that align with the school's curriculum or mission.
This AI is like having a secret weapon in my back pocket. Okay. What other music-related questions might they ask?
They could ask about your approach to teaching musicality. Let's say they ask, how do you help students develop their understanding of rhythm and timing?
Ooh, that's a good one. Musicality is so essential in dance.
It is talk about the methods you use. Do you clap along to the beat? Count steps? Use visual aids to illustrate musical phrasing? Do you encourage students to improvise or create their own rhythms?
It's about going beyond just hearing the music and actually feeling it in your body.
Exactly. And remember, the best way to learn musicality is through experience and exploration.
Okay, I'm feeling pumped about music. What's next?
Let's shift gears and talk about safety.
Okay.
We've already discussed the importance of warm-up spotting techniques and creating a supportive environment, but what if they throw a curveball and ask, what steps would you take if you noticed a potentially unsafe condition in the dance studio, like a slippery floor or faulty equipment?
That's a great question. It shows they're really looking for someone who is proactive and prioritizes safety above all else.
Exactly. This is your chance to demonstrate that you're a responsible and observant instructor who takes the well-being of your students seriously.
Right.
Talk about your process for assessing the situation, alerting the appropriate personnel, and taking steps to mitigate the risk until the issue is resolved.
It's about showing them that you're not afraid to speak up and advocate for the safety of your students.
Absolutely. And remember, being prepared for these kinds of questions can really set you apart from other candidates.
This has been so helpful. I feel like I'm ready for anything they throw at me.
That's what we like to hear. But before we wrap up, I did want to circle back to RoleCatcher's AI one more time.
Okay.
We've talked a lot about how it can help you with interview prep, but it also has some amazing features for job searching in general.
Oh, I'm all ears. What else can this AI do?
Well, for starters, it can help you discover job opportunities that might not even be advertised publicly.
Wow.
It uses your skills and experience to match you with potential employers who are looking for someone just like you.
Wow. That's incredible. It's like having a personal headhunter working for me 24/7.
It really is, and it can also help you track your job applications, schedule interviews, and even send personalized thank you notes.
This is mind-blowing. I never realized how much technology could do to streamline the job search process.
It's truly amazing, and RoleCatcher is just one example of how AI is transforming the way we work and find jobs.
This is so inspiring. I'm feeling so much more confident and prepared for this next chapter of my career.
That's what we love to hear. Remember, you have the passion, the skills, and the drive to succeed. And with the right tools and preparation, you're well on your way to landing that dream job.
Okay, I'm ready for the final part of our deep dive.
Yeah.
What else do we need to know before we step into that interview room?
In the last segment, we'll go beyond the questions themselves and talk about the overall impression you want to make.
Okay.
We'll cover things like body language, professional attire, and how to leave a lasting impression on those hiring managers.
Sounds good. Stay tuned, folks, because we're about to wrap up this deep dive with some powerful tips to help you seal the deal and land the Performing Arts School dance instructor position. All right. We're back for the final act of our Performing Arts School dance instructor interview trip.
It's showtime. We've covered so many insightful questions.
Yeah.
But now it's about bringing your authentic self to the table.
I'm excited and a little nervous, like stepping onto the stage for a big performance.
Yeah.
What can I do to really nail that first impression?
Think of it as choreography for your interview.
Okay.
You've got the steps down,
Right.
the answers to the questions.
Yeah.
But now it's about adding those layers of confidence, enthusiasm, and genuine connection.
Okay. I love that analogy.
Right.
So what are the key moves in this choreography?
Let's start with body language.
Okay.
Eye contact is key. It shows you're engaged and interested, and posture, sit up straight, but not stiff. You want to project confidence without seeming arrogant.
That makes sense. And what about what I wear? I know dress for success is a classic tip, but what does that really mean for a dance instructor interview?
It's a balance. You want to look professional and put together, but also reflect your personality and the dance world.
Right.
Maybe a stylish blazer with a pop of color, or a statement accessory that reflects your dance style.
Ooh, I like that. So professional, but with a touch of flair. What about during the interview itself? Are there any specific things I can do to leave a lasting impression?
Remember to ask thoughtful questions.
Yeah.
It shows you're curious and engaged. Maybe ask about the school's curriculum performance opportunities, or even their approach to professional development for teachers.
Those are great suggestions, and I bet they'll ask if I have any questions. What if my mind goes blank?
Don't worry, that happens.
Yeah.
It's always good to have a few prepared questions jotted down just in case. But even more important than the specific questions is your overall attitude.
What do you mean?
Be genuinely enthusiastic about the opportunity.
Right.
Let your passion for dance shine through in everything you say and do. Hiring managers can spot a fake smile a mile away.
That's so true. Passion is contagious. And that's what I want to bring to my students, speaking of students. Is there anything else I can do to show them I'm the right fit for their school?
Here's where those anecdotal stories we talked about can really make a difference.
Okay.
Weaving in those moments of connection with students,
Yeah.
those aha moments, those times when you helped a struggling student find their groove,
Yeah.
those stories paint a vivid picture of you as a teacher.
I love that it's about showing them who I am as a teacher, not just telling them.
Exactly. And remember, your teaching philosophy can also be a powerful tool in these interviews. Take some time to reflect on what drives you as an educator. What do you believe about the power of dance? What kind of learning environment do you strive to create?
That's a great point. Having a clear sense of my teaching philosophy will help me answer those big picture questions with confidence and authenticity.
Absolutely. And lastly, don't forget to follow up after the interview with a thank you note. It's a small gesture, but it can go a long way in showing your professionalism and continued interest. And guess what? RoleCatcher's AI can even help you write those thank you notes,
Oh, wow.
tailoring them to each specific interview.
This AI is seriously like a magic wand. It feels like it can do everything.
It's a pretty amazing tool, but remember, tools are only as good as the person using them. You are the one with the passion, the talent, and the drive to make a difference in the lives of your students.
This entire deep dive has been incredible. I feel so much more prepared and confident.
That's what we love to hear. Remember, you've got this. Go out there, shine bright, and share your love of dance with the world.
And to all our listeners, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Performing Arts School dance instructors. We hope you found these insights helpful and inspiring. Remember, preparation is key. Passion is contagious, and the power of dance is transformative.
Until next time, keep dancing.